He loves technology and he's serious about marketing technology, fun, safe, and easy way used for everyone. Please help me welcome Burton Kelso.
So good morning, everyone. I hate that bio because it just it drones on, and it seems like my mouth is right next to the mic. So I'm gonna lower this down a little bit. But while I'm adjusting my microphone, I'll give you a little bit of background about me. Surprise, I'm not a real estate agent. And it's a fun thing to do when I go to different conferences because we've all been in the exhibitor hall. You have the vendors running up saying, hey, do you want to buy the latest thing? And I get to say, hey, I'm not a real estate agent. I'm a tech guy. And it just ends the conversation right there. Just don't want to have anything to do with me. But also to give you a little bit of background about me and my tech skills is I own a technology service company that's along the same lines as Geek Squad. So we go on site and repair computers and do remote support and all that other good stuff. And this is my 30th year in business with Integral. So I mean, it seems like yesterday, but obviously it's been an eternity as far as running a tech support company, which brought me the idea of how to future-proof your business because obviously through luck, I've somehow lasted 30 years in business and I don't know how the hell I actually made that happen. And I'm sure many of you can relate to that because sometimes you're just like, uh-oh, maybe I should put it on the jacket. There we go, that's a lot better, all right. But I know many of you can I guess, not sympathize, but understand what the process is when you're running your own business because everything is coming at you at once. And one of the things that you need to do is to make sure that your business is going to last the next day. And many of you, like me, is that you're unemployed every day when you wake up and start the day. You may not know where your next buyer or seller is going to come from. Maybe you have some relationships that you dealt with, but you never know when those transactions are going to occur. So it's an always never-ending battle to make sure that your business is future-proof and that you can avoid all of the things that can occur with your real estate business because trust me, I know, even though I'm a tech support company, I mean, the sky's the limit of the types of problems that you can run into. Now, when I started Integral 30 years ago, it wasn't because I had this great idea that I was just going to be this rock star, tech expert, computer repair nerd, because I was by no means a nerd. I like technology, but I'm the last person you want to call to fix your technology because that ain't my thing. And I know many of you know tech guys out there that just love working on broken items. You know, if you say, oh, I have a problem with my phone or my computer, they're quick to jump on that problem and try to solve it. That ain't me. If you're not paying me, I don't want to see your stuff. And I even lie to my in-laws about my tech skills because they don't pay. You know? True story. Over the holidays, my wife's uncle decided to meet us in Abilene, Kansas. My mother-in-law lives in Abilene. My wife's uncle lives in Colby, Kansas. And so Uncle Ray doesn't make a journey to Abilene unless he's having technology issues. Told my wife, said, you know, Ray's coming up here because he's got computer issues. My wife's like, no, he's just coming to visit. Sure enough, we got there. Ray not only had his laptop, but he also had packed up his desktop computer too, because he was having issues. And inside I'm thinking, if it's gonna take more than 5 minutes, I ain't working on Ray's computer. And luckily he got his computer fixed because it was only a 5-minute solution. But a couple of weeks later, poor Ray fell for a technology scam. And whereas he wasn't willing to pay me to work on his computer, he gave the scammers about $3,500 of his hard money. Yeah. So I told my wife, you know, my rates are definitely gonna raise with your family the next time they have technology issues. But when I started Integral 30 years ago, I was kind of desperate because every job that I had, I got fired from. I just was not good as an employee. I was too busy trying to take control of the reins of whatever large company I was working for. And then I decided I needed to go ahead and become my own entrepreneur. So I just jumped in, no business plan, no nothing. I had some basic software to do invoicing and things of that nature. But I really jumped in, which is one of the things you don't want to do if you're trying to future-proof your business, because obviously I was looking at the day-to-day of running a tech support company as opposed to trying to look and see and forecast where I was gonna be 5 years, 10 years, even 20 years down the road. And eventually, as I worked in my company, I realized that I needed to put things in place in order to make sure that my company was going to sustain itself. Like I started sending out old news or print newsletters to current and potential customers. I would go around to different business organizations and speak, and not necessarily sell my services, but to provide value add content to ensure that if people had a tech issue, they would say, hey, we need to call that guy, we need to call Burton, the non-looking techie guy, because again, I've never worn a pocket protector. I wear glasses occasionally, different colored glasses, if you've seen like my YouTube channel. But yeah, I just, got ear piercings, so I'm not that nerd. But the question we have to ask ourselves when it comes to future-proofing is, are you ready for tomorrow? And you have to think about that regardless how long you've been in business and real estate, because there is a lot that can definitely happen in your business, and you have to be ready for those changes to occur, or be ready for those changes so that when they happen, you're able to pivot and make sure that your business is going to endure. And I know we're dealing with real estate professionals from Iowa, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri, but regardless of your area, I know there's probably about 10 gazillion agents in your area that you're competing with, right? And it doesn't take much for someone to kind of figure out how to rise to the top and dominate the real estate market. I know in Missouri, I think it's Kathy Taylor, who's like the top agent or one of the more prominent agents in that area. And that is your goal, especially if you want to survive to tomorrow. You don't necessarily want to be the obscure real estate agent, but at the same time, you want to position yourself so that you have a better brand position and that your business is going to be able to endure any scenario out there. One of the situations that I've dealt with, and it could have cooked this agent, it was one of our real estate customers in the Kansas City area who decided to use the same password for all of her stuff. We're talking .loop, we're talking any online application, and the most deadly thing that was occurring with this agent was the fact that she was forwarding all of her brokerage email into her Gmail account. And actually I take that back. It was a Yahoo account. And as you know, free email is a no-no if you're a real estate professional. If you didn't know, now you know with using free email. And so her business was crippled because cyber criminals figured out her password and was able to intercept all the emails that were coming in. And of course, they started sending out emails out of her email account. Well, luckily she caught that quickly and was able to save her business, and that's been about 5 years ago, and she's still in business today. Another story, we had a real estate agent who had a Microsoft account, and it used her computer login password, the same as her MSN password, and they got into everything. And I hate to laugh at this, but one of the things that she thought, and I hope none of you are doing this, is the fact that she said, well, golly, I put my password in with my contacts thinking that criminals would not look there to find my list of passwords. She had every password for all of her stuff, both business and life, saved as a contact under her contacts. I'm like, well, that's the first place they look, because everyone falls victim to that. So let that be a lesson to you. But again, there's a lot of different things that can occur in business. For example, for my business, which I was being stupid with, we use Square for our credit card transactions. And I had a disgruntled technician who decided that they were going to change the bank account from our company bank account to their personal bank account. Luckily, Square said, hey, you've been a customer for 10 years, this is unusual. So we're gonna stop all of these transactions from occurring until someone calls us to verify that you're making this change. And that's one of the examples of the things that can cripple your business and can definitely take you out. So when we talk about future-proofing, one of the first things that you need to work on for yourself is self-care. But before we talk about that, let's play a game of myth or fact. We're gonna be intimate for about a couple of hours, so why not break it up and make it fun? So myth or fact, so the way this works is, I'm gonna throw up an image, I'm gonna make a statement, and then you're gonna tell me if it's a myth or if it's a fact. So first myth or fact, Baby Yoda's real name is Steve. Is that a myth or is that a fact? Everyone knew that one, gosh. Anyone care to shout out Baby Yoda's real name? Grogu, all right, I've got some Star Wars fans in here. That's awesome, and then some other people are like, I really don't care about Baby Yoda. Are you bringing up, but I mean, the guy's so darn cute, you can't. Come on, something's wrong with you if you don't think Baby Yoda's cute. But anyway, let's talk about self-care. Self-care should be the foundation to your real estate business, because if you aren't secure with your self-care and making sure that you are healthy both mentally and physically, how is your business going to run? Yes, you may have realtors that work under you if you're a broker, but at the same time, they look towards you for leadership. So if you're not able to lead in a good manner, then your business is going to suffer, because I don't care, especially if you're an owner broker, you are the brand of your business. And if you don't have a good presence, then people aren't going to feel confident in your abilities, and they're gonna go with one of the other gazillion real estate agents out there. And it's not wrong to take care of yourself. I know a lot of people feel guilty, especially in this environment that we're in, because we're in this grind, hustle, up before 4 a.m., I'm exercising, I'm meditating, I'm lifting weights, I'm running, and even saying that wears me out. And I exercise, I work out, but I try to do things in moderation, and I think that's one of the key things that you need to do when it comes to your real estate business, is to do things in moderation and make sure that you are taking time to do the things that are going to cure you rather than make you ill. One of the first things that I will throw out as far as a stressor is technology. Technology is a pain in the butt, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I struggle with it, and God forbid social media. I hate social media, and I teach classes around the country on social media. But a lot of why we hustle and grind and work, just work ourselves to death is because of trauma. And it could be trauma from a horrible childhood, and God bless you if you manage to overcome that and become a successful individual. But a lot of it is also things that are in our mind. And sometimes in life, we work in our head constantly. Like, I'm guilty, I'm an overthinker. I'm constantly overthinking scenarios and thinking, man, I suck at this presentation, I'm not running a good business, and there's a lot of achievements that I have. In the past 30 years in the Kansas City area, I'm well recognized. In fact, I hibernate at home. I cannot go out without someone recognizing me. And it's like on the street, Walmart, wherever. So I just hang at home, because a lot of times that stresses me out, because I don't want to put on that, that public face. But also, trauma can be what we want to achieve. Sometimes trauma is like, I haven't made it far enough, or maybe my brokerage is not big enough. Maybe I'm not bringing out the numbers that I should as far as buying or helping buyers and sellers purchase homes and buy homes. And we just overwork ourselves and overthink. And what we need to learn as far as self-care is concerned is that the only thing that we should be in competition with in life are ourselves. We need to work and develop our minds so that we are only competing with ourselves and not competing with the agent down the field or the new up and coming rock star, flashy, I'm good on social media type of real estate agent or professional. And it's the beautiful thing about life is that all it takes is an instant for you to get out of that trauma thinking and to get into more of a healing thinking. It's just changing one thought. And I'll tell you right now from the stage that all of you are very beautiful folks. I love all of you. And the fact that you're sitting here, listening to me drone on, and not taking a dirt nap, which that's slang for if you're dead. That's a good thing. Every day above ground is a good day. And I mean, that's what it starts with. If you wake up and you can see daylight and not the top of the lid of a casket, it's a good day. Really good day. It's a good day. We'll lighten it up a little. It's a good day if you open your eyes and you wake up and you're not laying in a hospital bed somewhere, right? It's an even better day if you open your eyes in the morning and you realize you're not behind a set of jail bars. That for somehow, whatever you did the night before, wound you up in death in jail. And you don't want to be in that position. So it starts small as far as overcoming trauma and working on yourself to become a better person, as taking baby steps to make sure that you were healed and you continue to have that positive thinking. It's okay if you failed or maybe you didn't get that sell with that house. There's more out there and there's more opportunities. What you need to do is to train yourself to think, what am I going to do to improve myself to become a better real estate professional? It also starts with learning how to set boundaries. Not only with your work hours, which I do. If the phone rings at our office at 6:01, I have an office manager, but I tell her even, because she struggles with self-care, don't answer the phone. It's okay. If it were that much of an emergency, maybe they would have called during business hours, and it's clearly listed on our website what our hours of operation are. Same thing with holidays. I know people hustle and grind on federal holidays, and I always think of that as a good way to definitely step away and take some self-care. I mean, I really don't care about President's Day, but I think it is a great holiday, just for the simple fact that I can take a break and close the office. Christmas I love. I mean, I love Christmas, so yeah, that would be like a sin, not to celebrate Christmas, unless you're not of the Christian faith, and I am, and I love Christmas. But I think any of those holidays, and we know there's a holiday for every day, right? And you can obviously sink into the depths of laziness if you said, hey, I'm gonna celebrate every holiday. Because today is National Day of something. And you can definitely use that as an excuse to celebrate. But it all takes a single thought for you to begin to say, hey, I'm worth it, and maybe I wanna live 1,000 years. I'm not gonna make it, but if you think I wanna live to retirement, I want to make sure that I'm a better mindset so that I can come back and just conquer the real estate world. Those are the things that you have to think about when it comes to trauma and making sure that you are taking care of yourself. Another step is making sure that you are recognizing what your trauma triggers are. For me, and don't laugh at me too hard, my trauma triggers are grasshoppers and cockroaches, and the fact that I want to make a difference in the lives of people. I don't want to end this life not knowing that I didn't touch somebody's life in a positive manner. That's my trauma. For other people, trauma may be family, as opposed to, on the good side, I want to make sure that I leave a legacy for my kids and my grandkids. On the bad side of trauma, maybe you've got family members that just stress you the heck out. And I hate to say it. Sometimes you've got to cut family loose. You do. Because truth be told, in our world today, as far as the people that are surrounding us, there's probably realistically only one or two people that really care about you. People just don't really care about you, unfortunately. They don't. I mean, most people that you're aligned with are with you because they want something from you. Maybe they want you to sell their house. Maybe they want you to help them buy a house. Maybe someone wants you to get you connections with more buyers and sellers. Maybe if you speak, you want to get more speaking gigs, and that's the way you have to look at things. And when you're taking care of your trauma and healing yourself, and maybe you are a giver, you've got to take a step back and see what people are willing to give back if you give. Because if you're a giver, and I'm a giver, it's easy for you to be taken advantage of. And you really have to take a step back and see what people are giving to you, how they're helping heal. Because in my mind, we're all one big happy family. And that's the way things need to work, and that we need to be constantly taking care of people. But at the same time, we forget that we should be taking care of ourselves. So I encourage you, whatever makes you happy, do it. As long as it's good, I don't want you to go out and start doing road rage on people because it feels good because that person cut you off. We don't want that. Don't want you going around TPing somebody's house or, ringing doorbells just to irritate people. Because unfortunately, sometimes some people just want to watch the world burn. I don't want you to be that person. I want you to take care of yourself and do whatever it is that's going to make you happy and make positive changes in your life. I'm suffering through Lent, and then I grew up going to both Baptist and Catholic church because I went to a Catholic school. So if you go to Catholic school, guess what? Mass ain't an option. Every Tuesday, we were going to Catholic church, standing and kneeling and sitting and standing and kneeling. And so I adopted a lot of those practices because not only were they on Tuesday Mass, they were also incorporated into our school. So we had to do Lent. And so this Lent, I decided, and some of you saw me cheating, to give up like carbs and all that other stuff. But the mashed potatoes at dinner last night, they were incredible, weren't they? I couldn't resist. Like a little potato Satan sitting there going, come on, just starve me. Get 5 more bowlfuls of potatoes. And I had the breakfast potatoes this morning. But again, whatever it's gonna take to make you happy, to give you peace of mind, do it. Cut out negative people, limit yourself on social media, but always remember that when you need a break, when it comes to your self-healing, it boils down to you making sure that you're gonna take care of yourself, and it's just a single thought of you saying, I'm good enough. And all of you are good enough. All of you are. Think about it. Most of you, especially in the real estate business, you're hustling and grinding out in these streets, as I always say. And it's not T-H-E-S-E, it's slang in D-E-E-Z. I hope I got that right? Did I get it right? These streets, yeah, these streets. And you're hustling. You're out in these streets hustling, trying to get buyers and sellers. And you've got to take care of yourself in that process. So whatever's going to heal you, heal you. So let's talk about, I hope this thing works. Let's talk about being a grow giver. A grow giver is something that my mother always stressed. She didn't use that word, but she always called me Bert, which I hate. Never call me Bert, it's Burton. I hate Bert. Because you know why? Sesame Street. Now, Bert looked like a better Muppet. I think I would be okay with that. And I know there's Burt Reynolds out there, but it was something about his mustache that I just didn't really equate with. So I've never liked the word Bert, or the name Bert. I've always gone by Bert. But my mother has always stressed, you've got to grow as an individual always, and you've got to be able to give and give back to your community. And one of the things that I did in Kansas City as far as being a grow giver is doing a session called the Cash Mob, where we would encourage people to go shop at a mom and pop business paying cash only. And I didn't get anything out of it other than a ton of TV coverage. That was great, right? But at the same time, I was giving people the opportunity to grow their business because during the cash mob time, there were a lot of businesses suffering and we wanted to give them an economic boost. But what the quote says behind me is true. Oh, I almost forgot what it is. Oh yeah. Yeah, people really don't care about you, They really don't care about your business either. But you have to be a grow giver because in your real estate business, you definitely want to empower people as far as the choices that they need to make when they're either selling their home or when they're buying a new home. But part of that grow giving aspect too is as far as empowering people, you have to grow yourself as well and making sure that you're making smart choices for your business. For example, one of the things that I do as part of my grow giver is I have a YouTube channel, and every Wednesday I will post a tech video. Now, I do the same things on social media, so I'm always empowering people when it comes to technology, which helps me grow because I have to do the research to find out what's going on. Like ChatGPT is like the latest thing that's going on right now. And we'll talk a little bit more about ChatGPT, but it's just one of those examples of how technology is always emerging. always changing, and I want to make sure that people are always informed about the choices they make for technology when it comes to their business. Because I know, as real estate professionals, you've probably heard every advice under the sun as far as what things that you need to get to run your real estate business. And I know it's confusing. Now, I would say, yeah, you only need to listen to me, but maybe what I have to say doesn't align. Oh, there's a fly here. I hate, that's my other trauma. Anything flying. Yeah, if I start running, hopefully you'll do what everyone else should do. So if you see someone running, what should you do? What? Trip them? I heard no. You should run with them. Because that means the zombie apocalypse is broken out and they're coming after us. But being a grow giver also means that you've got to be in a constant state of give. And when it comes to businesses, those are the businesses that people are attracted to. There's a plumbing company, and I hope no one's related to this guy. And I normally can tell this story because I'm like 1,000 miles away from home. But being only 50 miles away from home, I won't even mention the plumbing company name because I might and someone will come up here and pummel me, and that wouldn't be a good thing. But anyway, this plumbing company does an excellent job of advertising all over the Kansas City area. But they suck. And I can say that because I've had firsthand experience with this company, and it left a really bad taste in my mouth. And you don't want that. One of the other things that I had a bad taste in my mouth, not about all realtors, but the realtor that my wife selected for us to purchase our new home in Lee Summit. It was probably one of the worst experiences that I had in my life because the agent wasn't a grow giver. One of the things that I thought was important, especially in today's society, is what is my internet going to look like at home? How fast is my coverage? Am I gonna rely on Dish, which sucks because satellite internet? Anybody live in a rural area? You know the pain, don't you? HughesNet, Wild Blue. See, y'all city folk, and I'm gonna say y'all city folk, y'all don't hear me. Y'all don't hear me. Yeah, that's right. Go visit one of your rural friends and use their internet. And then you'll feel their pain because there are no options out as far as internet is concerned. And even cable TV, you're almost stuck with DirecTV. And so in my mind, as a grow giver, as far as a real estate agent is concerned, those are the options that you need to, give to your buyer or your seller. Well, not necessarily your seller, but your buyer, to make sure that they know what they're getting. Because my wife and I work from home, and she wasn't thinking about the internet thing. But I'm like, who's the internet provider? My agent couldn't tell me, and didn't really look to find out what services we had. Because the house we selected had a big DirecTV dish on it, and I'm like, that ain't flying. I want land cable, so I want a Comcast, I want a Google Fiber. I want a Spectrum. And I'm throwing hints out there to all of you. Those are the best internet companies in the country, right? So yeah, Wild Blue, that's not good. But anyway, it was a scenario too where our agent never contacted us after the sale of the home. There was no bottle of wine, I know it varies from state to state if you can give out gifts after the purchase, but there was nothing, not even a box of cheese, that we got. But I encourage you, grow giving is the way that you have to develop your real estate business if you want to stay around for the future. Because if you come across as a taker, where you're just going around making the real estate transaction and going around and just person to person, you're not gonna last long in the industry. Or maybe you have and you've just been lucky, but someday it's gonna come back and bite you. So always, always, always be a grow giver, not only in your real estate business, but to other professionals that you see. So if there's an opportunity that that another agent can, or title company or mortgage company can benefit from, share it and don't expect anything back. I think that's the problem in our society today, is that we give and we always expect something back. That's a taker. That's not a grow giver. Grow giving is like, man, I know I'm gonna empower myself because I'm gonna help this other person out. And in life, one of the most successful, or one of the ways that we can become more successful, is to contribute to the success of other people. in recent, I won't say days, in recent days, how often have you done that? How often have you contributed to the success of others, your peers, your buyers and sellers that you're working with? And that's how you have to look at your industry, look at yourself as a real estate professional. How am I contributing? How am I giving back to this company or individual and making their lives better? Because in doing so, it's gonna create a legacy for me, and it's gonna help my business last hopefully for 1,000 years. That may not happen. So one of my favorite topics, technology, right? So I know agents struggle with technology, and technology, like we said before, is a pain in the butt. I love technology, but I hate it too. And there's many things that you need to understand about technology in order to help you make better choices when it comes to the technology that you use in your real estate business. So number one, let's talk about life expectancy of devices. So just shout it out, how long do you think a smartphone should last as far as years?
How long do you think it should last or you want it to last?
How long do you think it should last? I see a 3, I heard, yeah, so everyone's within the right range, but realistically, you can expect 5 to 6 years out of your smartphone. A lot of it is the planned obsolescence with your provider. So I love doing this. Show of hands, where are my Android users? Ooh. Now someone's got an obscure phone, so I have to say this. Where are my iPhone users yet? Okay. And I know there's probably somebody that's like, I don't know what I have. Well, if it doesn't have an Apple on the back, then it's an Android. Pretty simple. Another thing that you should know about your technology choices when it comes to your smartphone choices is that it doesn't matter if you have an Android or an iPhone in the real estate industry. 6 on one hand, half the dozen on the other, different companies, but deep down, they all do the same stuff, and guess what? Probably well, I shouldn't say probably, I know this for a fact, the semiconductors in your Android phone and your iPhone come from the same factories over in China. In fact, all technology comes from China, and they have the same stuff inside. And sometimes, even as a tech guy, I will mistake an Android for an iPhone, because they're similarly made. So if you have your tech people telling you, oh yeah, and most tech people go with Android. I have an iPhone. So that shows what kind of tech guy I am. You're probably thinking this guy's stupid, you know, he doesn't know anything about technology. No, that's what I started with when smartphones came out. So I stuck with Apple. And I know how to work an Android, I know how to use it because I've worked on tons of them. That's my preference. And so that's my message to you as far as your smartphone use. Pick what you know and stick with it. Don't let any nerd tell you that you need to go with another piece of technology, because you really don't. Same thing with computers. I gotta do the same thing. Where are my Mac users? Show of hands. Ooh, I knew that was gonna be the case. Windows users? I knew it. Again, it doesn't matter what you have, Mac or Windows. I know there used to be that old myth about with Macs, you don't get viruses. Right. Keep thinking that. But up until 2 years ago, the same stuff that was in your Windows computer was in your Apple computer, because all the semiconductors and computer chips were made over in China. So inside, maybe Mac had the nice titanium case and it cost more, so you thought you were getting more technology, but no, it's the same stuff on the inside. I've heard all sorts of myths about Windows computers. So if, again, with your computer, if you are using Mac, stick with it and never change. And if you're using Windows, do the same thing, because most of the real estate stuff that you use is cloud-based. Email, Dotloop, what's another program? MLS, all that's cloud-based. I have a funny MLS story for you when it comes to technology. So I've been around for so long with tech that I remember when MLS was on floppy disk. And in books. And the challenge that I had as an IT professional is that you would have some agents that knew knew how to install stuff on their Windows computer. Because back then, there was no MLS for the Mac. It was just a Windows world, and it kind of still is. And so the agent that knew how to install MLS on their Windows computer would keep the disk or lose them. and they would never make it back to the brokerage. And so they would have me go around to different agents. Are you sure you didn't keep the disc? This is what a floppy disk looks like. And it was a pain. So every time an agent got a new computer, we had to keep up on the MLS disk. And what's even worse, back in 1993, there was no internet the way that we knew it. Everything was on dial-up mode, where you had to sign up for an online service, get onto the MLS bulletin board, and if you were lucky, sometimes that listing on MLS would actually have a pixelated house that you could look at and kind of get a description. So if you are currently getting to the age of virtual tours and you've got the drone flyovers of homes, that didn't exist about 30 years ago. It was a different story. One of the other things that I really need to stress when it comes to your technology is purchasing what brands of computer to get. Now this is more on the Windows side than on the Mac, because Macs obviously is just Apple. But on the Windows side, probably one of the better computers to get that's gonna last and give you the support that you want is Dell. Anyone in here using a Dell computer? Dell's got the best after purchase support on the planet. If you're smart enough with your Dell purchase and get the extended warranty, they will actually come out to you to fix whatever warranty item needs to be repaired, as opposed to you having to ship your computer back. You bought an HP or an Acer, a Lenovo. One quick thing about Lenovo. Any Lenovo users in here? You know those computers come out of China, right? And Lenovo's been caught spying on specific stuff. So if you have a Lenovo, great, but your next Lenovo computer, you probably want to get a Dell instead, just for the simple fact that it's been proven that Lenovo computers spy on people. But as far as Dell is concerned and the other companies, if you have a warranty issue, you'll have to ship your computer back to the manufacturer, and that can take anywhere from 7 to 10 days. And if you're a mobile real estate professional, that's a killer, isn't it? One of my technicians made that mistake with one of our customers. She had a desktop. It was an issue that was needed to be taken care of under warranty. He shipped the computer back. He told her he was gonna ship it back, but he didn't tell her how long it was gonna be. And it was their primary business computer. So imagine, you as real estate agents and professionals, how long could you last without your computer in this industry? You'd go kill somebody and take their own computer, wouldn't you? Go mock somebody on the street, give me that laptop. But yeah, it was very, and I understand, especially if you're mobile, you can't be without your devices. And sometimes, and I know there are some people that only work with tablets, but sometimes there are people that need a computer because it's got the full keyboard. Apps don't always work like programs. Like for example, ChatGPT, there is no app for a smartphone. You have to go to a browser. And there are applications like that where you can't download an app to your smartphone. So your computer is the best thing that you can do as far as working in your real estate business. And with Dell, you get the extended warranty. Dell definitely sends someone out next day to fix whatever is going on with your technology. And also with technology, we also talk about internet. And I think I've already named the chief top companies in here. Fortunately, I've got Google Fiber at home, so I'm in business. But you need to be cognizant of that too, as far as not only what internet speed you have, but where you can access it when you're on the road. And that plays a very big, important thing if you were traveling quite a bit. Now my joke is, especially if you're traveling in your own local area, is to always go to the library and use the Wi-Fi there. Because you know, we hear stories about people sniffing on your Wi-Fi and all that other goodness. And while it can be true, the library is not gonna be hacker haven. It's not gonna be nerds sitting out there, oh, I wonder if I can get into grandma's computer and access her stuff. It just doesn't happen. So if you have to be somewhere traveling and you need internet service and you're like, man, that Starbucks Wi-Fi is really sketchy, go to the library, because the Wi-Fi is probably gonna be fast. You've got your own computer, you're gonna be able to hook up very quickly. So keep that in mind and make sure that technology is top of mind in your real estate business, because you want reliable technology that's going to work, You want to make sure that you are getting long life out of your devices. And I forgot to mention about computers. Believe it or not, desktop computers, you can probably get 10 to 12 years life out of your Mac and out of your Windows computer. So keep that in mind before someone just comes in and says, hey, you need to buy a new computer. Because with some tech companies, you have to worry about, are they getting a kickback on this computer that they're selling me, on this software that they're selling me? Not in their best interest, because remember, not only people, there is only one or two people that really care about you. But especially with IT guys trying to sell you stuff, and you definitely need to watch out because they don't really care about you either. So keep that in mind. So customer service is a huge thing in our company. We are really big because we're a service-based company and we want to hear feedback from our customers as far as our techs are concerned. And I was out in the field for the longest time, and so I would always call customers after I visited and said, hey, what do you think? Is the service good? Are you happy? Is everything fixed? And I know for many service companies, you probably never hear from the plumber or from the HVAC guy that comes out to your residence to fix stuff. And it's very important to build that relationship or build that rapport with your customers to ensure that in that, and correct me if I'm wrong, 7-year period between the time that people purchase homes, am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, approximately, yes. But I mean, a lot can happen in that 7-year period. So you always want to ask feedback and stay in contact with your customers to make sure that they feel appreciated as far as your services are concerned. Because again, you're competing against a gazillion real estate agents in your area, and you want to make sure that you're always top of mind. And one of the best things to do is to develop those relationships with your buyers and sellers, so that they will always call you. And I know there's real estate classes, and I agree with the ones that say that you need to do pop buys or that you need to have special events for your customers. I was at a real estate conference a couple of weeks ago at CRS in Atlanta, and there was a group of ladies talking about what, there's a fly here, there's a group of ladies talking about what they do in their real estate business in order to maintain customers. And so they had a top list of the customers that usually come to their events. Like the A, like they love you and they're always gonna show up. And B, maybe they've been looking at your real estate services, they haven't quite committed. And C, they saw you, but they want to learn more about you before they work with you, right? But I had category D, because I always host events. And you know the people that show up at our events, but we still host them anyway? It's the ones that have never used our computer services and don't plan to, but they show up because I'm serving free alcohol and free food. Or we get customers that, because we deal with some elderly customers that are like, well, we don't drive at night. And that's a good reason. But, I still give and let people know that I appreciate them, even though I'm not getting anything back. But honestly, it really bothers me that we have these, I don't know a good word for them, I'll call them hobos, that will show up to my events and just hang out for the heck of it and just sitting there looking in the face and telling you what a great guy and what a great company you have. I'm like, how the heck can you say that? You've never used my services. And in fact, one of the things that you do as someone that I know is that you're calling constantly and wanting to pick my brain about whatever. I heard a yeah over there. Yes, amen, sister. Pick my brain as far as fixing whatever computer issue they have. Who's with me on this? Do you have that problem with the picker brainers? Yeah, everyone's like, oh yeah, man, we ain't gotta raise our hands. Everyone deals with that. And it's a horrible thing. But you have to rethink it when it comes to your customer base. Because, for example, when people call our office, if it's an existing customer and they're having like an issue, like maybe some criminal scammed them out of money, we'll walk through that process and help them get back whatever they lost, or just to understand that it's just a scam email that showed up in their inbox. But if a new customer calls, I treat them like Uncle Ray and say, oh no, we gotta come out and take a look at that to find out what it is. So I mean, it definitely works to help whoever you've helped in the past and that has paid you or you made profit on, as far as going out and letting them pick your brain. Another thing that I hate to do, but I do it anyway, is coffee meetings. There are people that want to meet for coffee and they never tell you why. I hate that. And I think in today's world with texting and voicemail, If you need me, you can call me and say, hey, Burton, I wanna meet because I've got this up. No, I won't say that, cause that's the salesy, let's go meet for coffee. But hey, Burton, let's meet because I want to introduce you to a new customer who needs your services. This is their number, either we can meet and I can give you more details, or you can call the customer directly and find out what their needs are. That didn't take long, it took about 5 seconds, a little more to do that. But I hate the messages that you get when someone just calls and says, hey, give me a call. For what? I'm busy. There was one lady that called. She called the office, was begging my office manager, yeah, I gotta talk to Bertie. So my office manager, Desiree, relayed the message to me. I'm like, well, what did she want, Desiree? She wouldn't say. I'm like, well, she's probably trying to sell me something. Well, it turned out Desiree could have answered her question because this lady lost her job and wanted to know how to update her LinkedIn profile to show that she was, what's the word on LinkedIn? Open for work. That took 5 seconds. I'm like, why do you need me to take my time to do that? You know? But always love your customers. Make sure that they feel appreciated. You have to definitely embrace them because, like the movie Highlander, there can be only one you, and you want to make sure that that happens because you don't want to, and it sucks when it happens. You don't want to lose your buyer seller to another real estate agent. That's like, oh my gosh, I might as well just go hang myself in the basement. Because we all know how hard it is to get buyers and sellers. And so you want to ensure that not only are you making money in your real estate business, but you're taking care of your customers. And it can be hard because sometimes you get so caught up in the business and you've got all this new business coming in, you're going out, you're doing open houses, you're writing up contracts, and you forget about the ones that have been loyal. And of course, someone else is gonna court them and take them away, and you don't want that. So I want you to always remember that because that definitely will help future-proof your business. So the first 3 customers that I worked with, I still work with today. We're talking about a 30-year relationship. Unfortunately, one customer by the name of Bob, and that's his real, I'll say Norman so you don't think I'm making up the name Bob as a customer name. But poor Norman passed away, but Norman was 90. And you get that age, you tend to die. And sometimes you go longer because we have a customer who's 96, one of my first customers, her husband passed. Unfortunately, he would still be alive, but he succumbed to COVID. But you want those long-term relationships. Another one who's an attorney that I've been working with for 30 years, I started my business so long ago, he swears up and down and tells everybody, yeah, I met Burton when he was in high school. And it wasn't true, I was in my 20s when I started my business. But I mean, we have a long-term relationship and he constantly refers and it works out good. And that's what you want because your customers, especially in a word-of-mouth referral business, those are the ones that are gonna be your biggest cheerleaders. Because you probably are doing a heck of a marketing job and you're attracting new people. But it's the old customers, the old buyers and sellers that you're working with that are definitely going to grow your business and help you maintain so that you can last a good 30 years. Now, we're gonna take a break in about 10 minutes and then we'll probably have to continue the cybercrime discussion. But I hate to tell you folks, but cybercrime is a human problem. That means every device that you own is completely safe from cyber criminals. That means no one's hacking in through your router to get to your computer. No one can hack into your smartphone or computer unless you allow them permission to get into your devices. And the reason being is because a lot of cyber attacks are socially engineered. That means that cyber criminals know ways to get you to react to those scam messages and to those emails that pop up, as opposed to you not really reacting. So you're not gonna get emails. Maybe 5 years ago you would get an email that says, hey, click on this link, and you'd be like, okay. But now we know that clicking on links is bad. So cyber criminals have become a little bit more sophisticated and said, well, we need to add a call to action. How many times have you heard that, right? Call to action. So cyber criminals actually do add a call to action to every scam, text, email, and voice call. Hey, your account has been compromised. And of course you're freaking out going, oh no, they're gonna get into my account. So you take the call to action, click on the link, and that's how criminals get into your stuff. Another way with that is that you use weak passwords, or you use the same passwords for all of your online accounts. And that is something that allows criminals to get access to your information. Now, part of it is your fault, because you've probably been told by a gazillion IT guys that you need to change your passwords, and you need to have different passwords for all of your online accounts. And you probably never do it, right? Because you're thinking, that'll never happen to me. I'm a realtor. You know, no one cares about us. But you have to understand that as realtors, or not realtors, sorry, realtors,
Thank you.
you're welcome, I know it, and real estate professionals, that you are targeted because the amount of money that you're dealing with on a daily basis. All it takes is one email to your buyer seller, and then there's wire fraud. I was trying to add cash in that, but it's just, you're wiring money. So wire fraud can happen, and I've seen it many times where people lose their life savings because they're trying to buy their dream home, and they wire money to an unknown entity, and they get that information. One of our customers, who's a doctor, almost became a victim of that because, and he's still using AOL email, if that tells you. Oh, wow. Oh, no. AOL used to be good. But anyway, he hates change like a lot of people, and that's why it leads to cybercrime. And he had his banking officer's information in his email, but he also had his passwords and his account information in his email. And so he gets an email from his bank saying, hey, we need to, or actually, I take that back. His bank got the email from our doctor customer saying, I want to transfer $68,000 to an account in Australia. And luckily, the banking officer at the bank caught it and then called our customer to say, hey, I think you've been compromised. But it wasn't, they had us do scans on his computer and all that stuff, but it wasn't that his computer was compromised. His online AOL email was compromised, and that's what caused the actual breach. So again, cybercrime, it's a human problem. What are you doing as real estate professionals to make sure that your online accounts are secure? Some of the things that you can do to make sure that you don't become breached, because it's estimated that businesses that suffer a ransomware attack or some type of data breach are out of business in 6 months. And that definitely ends plans for your future, correct? How many knew that statistic? I mean, it's overwhelming. If you suffer a breach, and especially if you're a smaller business, you're gonna be done, because what happens when you have to call your buyers and sellers and say, hey, I suffered a data breach? How do you think they're gonna feel? They're not gonna wanna work with you anymore. That happened to us, and we weren't even the culprits. One of our customer, that's right, got scammed because our customer email, well, it wasn't even compromised. Someone just found the email address on the web, emailed them to say, hey, we need you to send this money for this remodel job. And the customer wired it to some company. And so our customer called us saying, hey, we think our systems got breached. We're like, no, this was a spoofing email where they got your info and just spoofed your customer. Well, the original owner who owned this remodeling company would have said, okay, Burton, yeah, we need to notify our customer that they need to be more vigilant when it comes to emails. But since the owner had died and there was a new crew running this company, they didn't have confidence in our abilities, so they fired us as a customer and went with another IT company, and it wasn't our fault. The only thing that we hadn't had the opportunity to do was to establish ourselves as a reliable and trusted source for this customer. So, I mean, it makes me sad, but the same thing could happen to you as realtors and real estate professionals, because if a buyer seller falls victim to wire fraud, they're blaming you. Because maybe you didn't establish the parameters of what and how you're gonna communicate when it comes to emails. Maybe you're not telling your buyers and sellers, only accept email from XYZ company. This is the title company we're working with. This is the mortgage company we're working with. And make sure that you're checking your emails. And I hate to say that it's kind of your responsibility as real estate professionals, but it kind of is your responsibility to let buyers and sellers know, because although we live in a society where scams happen all the time, and I think most of us think that those opportunities aren't going to occur, they occur. And if you're wanting to add longevity to your business, you definitely need to think like your buyer or seller to ensure that they're not getting scammed by the various data breaches out there. Because we all know that when emails come in, we don't look at who sent the email. We just look at the body of the email. So as long as it's got the right logo and the verbiage doesn't sound like it's coming out of Addis Ababa, that's Saudi Arabia for some of you who didn't know. That you think those are the only things that you need to look for. But criminals are becoming a little bit more tricky as far as their scams are concerned, and so you really have to watch out what the body of the letter says, and also check out the email signature too. Little old me almost fell victim for a scam at one of our customers as recent as December. One of our customers who owns an accounting firm got an email from their accounting software in November. And normally end of the year is the time when it's time to renew your software. So if you use QuickBooks in your real estate business or any accounting software, if you're not using online and you're using the out-of-the-box software, there's that renewal period. So we got the renewal letter, but it looked sketchy, but I called anyway, and then I let the criminals inside my customer's computer. Now, although there's no harm in letting a cyber criminal, well, there kind of is if they start stealing files. But if you let them log in, that's okay. But the criminals, and believe it or not, most cyber crooks aren't concerned with what's on your devices. That's shocking, right? All they want is the money. And so all they wanted from our customer was $1,600 to pay for the renewal of the software, which had been renewed in April. And luckily my customer was like, wait a minute, I already paid for this software. So she pulled out a receipt, and sure enough, she had paid for it. And so we immediately logged off with the scammer because it was a scam email trying to get money. So I caution you, as we're about to take a break here, that when it comes to cybercrime, you may not think that it's gonna have a long-term effect on your business, but it definitely will. Because if you lose data, even if your device is locked up with ransomware, and I know a lot of the information that you work with is in the cloud, but if you're an active agent, there's pictures of listings that you have on your computer, you may have buyer-seller information on your device, and you definitely don't want it locked up, because if it gets locked up in a ransomware attack, or even if you drop your phone in the toilet or you run over it with your run over your laptop with your car, you want instances where you can retrieve that data back. Because hopefully none of you know, but I can tell you from an IT experience that it's very difficult to recover from a technology disaster. You definitely don't want to put yourself in that position, whether it be a technology disaster of your own making, or if it's a technology disaster when you become victim of a data breach. So we're gonna take a quick break, probably about 10 minutes, I love that. And then we'll come back and then we'll continue with some other things that you can do to help future-proof your real estate business. So